Hello and welcome back to the EUniverse coverage of League Game Changers. I am Brackish Brit. I'm joined again by Hyperbubbles and this time by Rob to bring you desk coverage ahead of our second match of the day. We just watched G2 Hell and Bubbles take some very serious revenge on Blue Otter. Now they go up against the slated tournament favorites in Vitality Rising Bees. So we've had a time to cool down, all right, after that match. How much hype remains?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Hype in general, or hype for either of these two teams?
Hell specifically.
Okay.
So
we can come across to
basically,
you then,
yeah, like it's 23-minute banger. It was 37 or 31, I think, tower plates taken before the 20-minute mark. It was insane.
I reserve banger for more banger games than that. I think we need to get rid of this banger sort of pandemic that we've seen about calling every single game
I'm with
on
you,
a stream.
I know what you mean.
A banger.
That was a game of all time. And it was
it's a game
demolition.
that happened. I was actually watching it. Yeah, exactly. And I thought, okay, GTO looked pretty good, and they did look pretty good in the previous stage as well, right? They did get to finals. They get smacked around a little bit by Mental Rush in the finals there. They've got a sub ADC, so we obviously questions there about how far they can go.
Just fine, though.
I'm going to move across to Vitality.
Yes.
I'm going to say that they are very, very strong. They looked very good yesterday against Mental Rush. We streamed that game on here, actually. And there was a bit of a scrappy early game, but OP is looking really, really good. Delicat as well is looking pretty good as well. I think most of Vitality Rising Bees, it was a shock they didn't get finals in first stage. I think many people were surprised after a perfect perfect Swiss stage, and they're showing again the kind of form that we expect them to show.
Yeah, not perfect this time around, but as you said, still a very, very strong showing from them this time around. Well, let's talk about that then. So, I specifically highlighted in game one, Happy Bubbles, that we also had a fantastic time on that Ambessa, had a slightly unusual build with the Serpent's Fang, with the Mortal Reminder being a bit techie in the way that she was building. With OP being as strong as she is, do we think that lane matchup is going to be harder for Briosna to do what she wants?
I do think that at least the Ambessa sort of Renekton matchup is not going to be as favorable anymore, because Briosna definitely just impressed so much, where it was the Renekton that was picked into it, I believe, and in the end it just didn't have the same just presence that we really expected. I believe just solo built up over 1,000 gold lead just in the pure laning phase on the side of Briosna, so that was just so well done by her. But I also think that Vitality Rising Beast, they play a little bit more also with their top laner, to not just, put them on sort of we'll put you in something, throw you in the top side, leave you just sitting there and then just see what happens, so I think Briosna is still going to, just do her thing, but it's not going to be I'm just going to leave lane, have 1,000 gold lead and do whatever I want anymore.
I just think that Vitality Rising Bees, again, as well as many of the other teams that have this sort of like top lane focus, I would say, like Mental Rush is a team that has shown, like Zenith having quite a lot of character. Miele and Zenith on both sides, they almost don't play through mid and they kind of play on top and bot. I would say very similarly, coming out of something like Vitality Rising Bees, I mean, across the board, they're pretty good again. G2 Hell, Viosna's look pretty good and plays a lot of those sort of carry tops. I think we've got quite a carry top heavy pool here, at least within Game Changers, and that leads to some really exciting, more explosive matchups. We saw like an Olaf versus Jax yesterday. It's pretty impressive that they can bring these champs out, where a lot of people at the moment just sort of sit there, I'm going to play the Sion, I'm going to play, Rumble, I'm going to weak side on Cassante. These people, they want to come out and they want to smack people around.
I mean, we did see Sion on in game 2, but yes, that was a game clearly orchestrated to not play around top lane at all. In fact, the series was quite quiet, I think you would say, in terms of action in the top lane, so perhaps not so this time around. Do you have anywhere else you think could be a focal point, perhaps for G2 to exploit, Rob, this time around? Or is just the Rising Bees just so strong as a whole?
I just think the Rising Bees are very strong across the board. I would have said maybe I still haven't got quite a read on Karomi versus Aziri, as in sub ADC versus main ADC. If there's some sort of exploitation that can happen there in the bot lane, I do just generally think Vitality Rising Bees that aren't people talk about super teams, they talk about the SK Avarosa lineup being built like a super team. I think the Rising Bees are just generally solid across the board. Maybe there's angles for Sheena against Delicat, but Delicat's also very good. It's a difficult one to see an actual direct inroad rather than it being like a let's look at draft and then let's look at exactly how they tap for team fight. Because let's not forget, you'd have watched it, Leo. G2 Hell don't always draft normally. They like stuff like last stage they played Caitlyn mid lane as well, so they could throw some curveballs, which is where maybe advantages can come.
Well, I mean, Caltus formerly being a bot laner, obviously, having role swapped into mid recently, that's something that I said can be in their pocket. And in the previous series, we also saw a Ziggs come out for Sakaromi in that bottom lane, as we can reduce Yap and start talking about a draft. We've seen a lot of high priority picks, obviously, coming through. The Hui, recently buffed, has been a big favorite in Game Changers.
Pretty standard now with the buff. It's a champion you need to put a bit of time into, but if you have it with the buffs, looks very, very good. There's other champs that got buffed in the patch, like Syndra got buffed. I still think Orianna can be played. And then you still got the standard ADCs as well, like Ezreal, you got Karma in the support role. Like, I don't think Enchanters are gone yet. I want to see a full engage better, but we've not seen it. As the Rek'Sai ban against Sheena, that's
just
a target.
UKL bias talking.
I just like
There's
engage.
the Orianna ban. I mean, but Nautilus is picked all the time. Nautilus is like one of the engaged champions.
More engaged. If I'm looking here, I'm looking at Nico, for example, in this draft, and I'm looking at Bard in the support role, because Honda has had a couple great Bard performances, and Lumi's best champ by far is Nico. So those are the ones I'm seeing as potential pickups early on here, if they fall through the draft, which they're currently seeing that happen, because Sheena is being heavily targeted here by Vitality Rising Bees. Yeah, I almost got the sides wrong in my head somehow. I don't know if that happened.
I mean, looking at the junglers, we do still have the Jarvan up again. I don't know if that's the direction we're heading, but, you know, I'm slightly concerned that the jungle meta is still, hey, let's go 80 bruisers, let's go fighting, let's go see what happens. And with both Rek'Sai and Vi being banned out, Jarvan is sort of one of the next ones on the list. Zin's out is the other one there.
80 bruises
We also, of
all
course,
the way.
Yeah, we also saw the Maokai in game.
No, Nautilus!
Could come through. The Nautilus gets banned by the side of the Rising Bees. Is this a further indication of maybe something like a Bard that Honda wants to get out of bot lane, perhaps?
We sort of play it a lot yesterday, and really enjoying playing that sort of pick combined with a sort of skirmishy jungler. The J4 ban, so both these supports, this is what I'm looking at right now, is like Nico and Bard are the two that I'm seeing as potential targets. Vitality Rising Bees, I believe, first picked it yesterday, the Bard, which is like crazy, really, when you think about it, but it is a very strong pick. We'll have to wait and see.
Happen again.
It's definitely a possibility. There you go.
Yep. There it is.
I was wondering if there'd be some sort of weirdness where Honda would go, I'm going to take your main and see if you can play my main. But no, just going to go, I love playing Bard, and thus I am going to play Bard.
Should be Nico.
We see the timer go down. What is going to be the answer to that come through? Another Sivir game. Okay. All right. We're back. We're just scaling. We're vibing.
Okay. This is obviously very different than what we saw in literally the last series. It was Kate, Nico, and Lumi.
Yeah.
Lumi put on a show on that Nico. It was exactly where she needed to be. The Karma has made it through the bans, though. With the Nautilus gone, it's going to be quite tough to punish.
Bard is still great to Karma. Does a lot of damage in lane. If she magic Qs you to the face, you just generally return that damage back. He's generally more active out on the map as well. I am a little bit surprised that we didn't see maybe a bit more, I'd say comfort, but like a pocket bit coming in, try and secure that game one. This is Fearless, so maybe they're sitting there going, okay, we might be able to get that Nico in a better spot later in the game two. That will obviously have to occur. The Nocturne coming through, Nocturne Bard, a couple sort of semi-global, global ultimates that want to impact the map. And then there's Ashe, another one. They're everywhere on the map today.
The bees looking to act as a hive mind, work together globally to get the job done. Let's see what the R3 is coming through. The G2 Held, is there a way to frustrate a plan like this? A way to No, apparently
Scion.
we're just going to go for the Scion.
Well, we were talking so much about how, potentially we're going to see some more action in this top side. Well, the Scion just being locked in kind of gets rid of a lot of what we wanted to see there.
It doesn't fully exclude more action, right? I mean, there's still the opportunity for OP to pick up something more aggressive. We even see the Vayne ban coming through, something ranged that could, not necessarily farm kills on the Scion, but farm in freedom because the Scion can't do anything to them.
We're not on that next patch where Scion is really heavily nerfed and should give them some space in the lanes, because even the Vayne lanes are actually not that bad. It sounds crazy. Scion just outscales you. It doesn't matter. She still has to get points into W. She still has to outscale you on the sides, but you steal team fight better. I was going to say before that Vayne ban come down, Cultist has played some crazy things in mid so far in the last 2 tournaments. So I was like, maybe there's a Scion mid angle here. It's like some kind of swap, but now with the Vayne ban, I suspect it will be going top lane. Banning out the Xin Zhao with the Karma pairing makes sense. I think you could take one more jungler off the board here. As Vitality Rising Bees, you're really pinching the pool here, actually, in jungle. There's already 4 off the table, 5 if you include the Nocturne. And then on the other side, I think you just keep taking away, you've taken away another top laner, you take away another side laner. I think Gwen is the one I'm looking at here as a potential pickup for Vitality Rising Bees into the Scion, unless they're willing to just go tank versus tank and just then look for scraps later.
Oh,
but I think if they do go for that, then, I'm just favoring the bottom lane of G2 Hell when it comes to a super late game team fight. So I do think if they have a lane that has that prio coming through, Graves?
Sheena, going for it in this game.
Okay.
I mean, I was going to say, you were going to see a jungler here because obviously you want to keep that Scion potential flex hidden as long as possible. So now it's on the Rising Bees to decide their follow-up angles.
Aatrox top, okay.
Aatrox, that matchup is notorious for just being so frustrating. At some point, in the early game, this Aatrox, if you land the sweet spots, it's so annoying to try and get a Q off if you're Scion. It becomes such a game of chicken, where it's okay, Scion, okay, the Rise comes through in the mid lane. Yeah, overall just very strong coming through. But yeah, I'm liking this so far. I'm really interested to see this Graves, how that's going to play into the comp of Vitality Rising Bees.
It's an interesting pick.
Yeah. So
really
hard lockdown is lacking a little bit. Point and click lockdown is not going to be the easiest thing to bring through.
Oh. Hold on. They didn't like that one.
They said no.
Know what the R5 was.
Get rid of it. We'll go next.
From what we've seen so far, obviously we're waiting on the last pick for G2 Hell. I do think G2 Hell's draft, other than the Graves, is actually just incredibly solid, right? The Graves, as you said, how does it interact with the enemy compers? We've gone back in time again, and there's the Graves. Shock!
Cool.
Surprise!
Oh my god, it's a Graves!
Into Nocturne, it can be good if the Nocturne is being a bit too over-aggressive, right? If you get a little bit of a lead on the Graves, the Nocturne jumps into you, you try and blow him up before any more support arrives, and then you can try and play to the next target. I still question whether people understand the strength of Nocturne. It isn't just the fact he go in, it's also the fact he cut vision and he's able to give yourself angles here to get a Rise ult, which we saw locked in. We'll see a lot. I think they're going to pick Rise, guys. I think they're going to pick Rise.
What?
That
is
no
crazy
way.
prediction.
It allows Rise to realm
That's
warp
crazy.
into more awkward positions for the enemy team to detect, which means that you can then get sort of surrounds easier in these team fights and get access to the backline easier without them being able to tell what you're doing. Because even if they know you're trying to do that, they don't know where you're going to go. Vitality Rising Bees draft is all about siding, playing onto sides with the amount of globals that they have, and then they're going to be able to then take a fight maybe advantage having picked someone off, and then we'll see what the final lock is. It's Malzahar, classic lane counter. We're going back to 2017 here. Crown winning worlds, but I don't know if it's enough necessarily for the whole thing. But I do think G2 Hell's draft, if it's 5v5s, is just favoured.
Looks very, very solid, as you said. Vitality Rising Bees looking to play for the sides, looking to overstack with the likes of the Nocturne or the Realm Warps, but the 5v5 power of G2 Hell cannot be understated. Do you have a preference at the baseline?
I think G2 Hell's draft's more solid.
I agree.
Alrighty, well, with that being said, we're going to toss it across to our casters. Luna and Rev, take it away for game number 1.
Thank you so much, Brackish, Hyperbubbles, and Rob. Welcome in, everybody, to our second series of the day. Vitality Rising means up against G2 Hell, as you've just heard the devs talking about. My name is Luna. I am joined by the wonderful Rev once again, after so long.
And once again, G2 Hell are doing early game shenanigans, leading the Graves for an invade. Graves will find out about Nocturne. It's going to be a smite fight, most likely. Noct doesn't want to take these chances. Who's going level 2?
Ooh, goes across to Delicate. There's much better to walk away from this one. Gonna be a 4 versus 3 scrap as they're stuck on enemies territory. Flash forward from Lumi to try and reposition. And now it is G2 Hell fighting forwards. Shouldn't be anything come of this. The early stages, it's level 1. None of these champions really have a huge amount, but it is a big health trade and the flash and heal out of Lumi for the heal out of Honda.
Yeah, that's a very nice trade for the Vitality Rising base over there. They got more summons than they actually traded. But Rim might have a difficult lane right now. Rise, of course, not the longest range champion. Easy, very easy for Malzer to actually get E after E on top of him and slowly chip away her HP. So we might see her trade her teleport in quite early, maybe after she managed to get enough for just a Sapphire Crystal. On the other hand, Delicate got the big chicken, but didn't get all of them. I saw just 3 CS being there on the tab. So maybe she won't get level 4 by full clearing her accounts.
Maybe. I'd be impressed.
I think she will need crab as well over there. If
Yeah,
she
you'd
missed
wager you're
2
doing
chickens.
this tempo for crab.
And also, she is kind of lagging behind. Graves is one of the fastest clearing champions. Huge A in his end of the line. Also, the auto attacker said it's very, very easy to clear fast and healthy while playing with Graves. So Sheena, very nicely, is already a camp ahead. I imagine her being first on the crab. I don't know what the prio will be, though, as Anacaldis is using her last mana to just shove the wave. Will be back with a teleport. And the top lane is kind of a very, very even fight so far, with both Viosna and OP being very close to half HP, no pots left.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a wet noodle fight. The early stages, at the very least. I think as the game goes on, OP will have the upper hand going around the first item area as Sheena looking on towards the bottom crab. Honda just trying to ward off anything funky in the mid lane. As Delicate's actually running down to try and contest this, didn't go for the top crab. Assumed it had just been taken, I'd wager.
No, I think that she just wants to be there in the respawn of the chickens. She knows that it spawns way earlier than any of the Graves comes, and with Sheena being there on the top side, it's very easy after the crab to just go take the respawn of the chickens and be actually a whole camp ahead. So this would snowball very, very much into the grabs fight, as Sheena would be level 6, and on the other hand, Delicate will be struggling. So that's a nice adaptation. Of course, you lose a little bit of time, then your clear will be a little bit awkward because the Krugs, they will spawn, but then you have to walk half a map to get any other camps. So you are in an awkward situation right now, but at least you will not be lagging behind in approximately 3.5 minutes time, where maybe you have to skirmish in front of the grabs.
Well, time will tell if there is some 5-head clearing going on from Delicate here, or it's just taking what is available at any given moment. The Dragon up in about 15 seconds. I don't foresee either team going for it super early on.
I mean, they can. It's really, really prior dependent. It's a mountain break, though, and
Exactly.
although in theory it sounds quite nicely, because your defense is a scale in the late game just with levels, and earlier you don't really have a lot of defenses. Nobody has built any defensive components or anything of the sort, and it's just a percentage. Doesn't really give too much, and it's quite a hard break to complete. But Honda might be in trouble.
Forced to use
Very
the
nice
heal.
trade.
Meanwhile, Cosmic going to trade onto Sakaromi. Hard to say who's coming out on top of these trades in the bottom side.
The only thing actually separating them right now, it's mana, as Sakuromi is very much very hard to use the early mana management now for a Sivir from the moment that they work their spell sheet. It doesn't give any mana, it just gives HP. Yes, you are a little bit healthier there, but you can really spam your ricochets, your boomerang blades. So the wave clear has been impacted there in the game until you buy an Essence River. If you buy an Essence River, because there's a lot of discussion there. I've been casting with Forgiven a lot, and he's a huge hater of the Essence River rush. So maybe we're gonna see the flicker blade, so you have a little bit more scaling, a little bit more damage there, but you will be losing the ability to spam. Oh, there's a dive.
There is
Honda dies.
indeed. Honda is going to
It's
get
a double kill.
executed. And first blood's going to go to Vyoshna onto Ophi. It's not quite a double kill. One of them was an execute, but it's definitely favorable for the top side of G2 Hell. What in the world happened there?
I'm not sure. I really missed the start of it. And the thing is, it didn't seem like Yosna did absolutely anything. A flash pen from Rim as well. Vitality Rising Beast look very much lost. And with Delicate not being level 6 yet, I don't see them being able to counter that.
Well, it does look like this dragon is going to be G2 Hell's prize, plus that topside fight, sitting very pretty in the early stages of this game. With double longsword in the Civi's inventory, we could be looking at a Hex Optics rush this game coming out of Sakuromi as well. A number of things, so what that is going to be. Dragon going to be just ignored again for a little while.
Yeah, nobody really wants to be there. Grace loves clearing and clearing and clearing, getting himself ahead. A very, very gold hungry champion as well. But if you manage to reach the 3-4 item mark without being severely behind, it's a champion that can win games on autopilot. Just see an enemy, execute an enemy, just dash to the next one. Auto Q auto is usually enough to deal with any of the enemy team. And looking at the enemy team, there's not really a lot of HP or resistances going over there. Maybe bar the Rise, who will be building the Road of Ages, so he will be a little bit tanky. No armor though expected. So Graves just needs time, and from the moment that Vital Rising Beasts are not really doing anything in the map either, they're not looking to get the Drakes, they're not looking to go for the invades, and Lumi very nicely is roaming the map time and time again, making sure that Graves has easy access to the river, has more prio, and also stealing away a couple of summoners from the enemy team. That means that they are not really worried. They can just get camps, wait, and they will scale very, very hard in this game.
They will. Malzolt down on Honda here on the other side. Fight away for Gina. Paranoia is up. Nice vision. Rim could get caught up here. In goes Delicate. Gets caught in the Spion ult, though he gets caught on the back. Rim is going to fall at the cultist. Bjorn is going to pick up Delicate. And it's just G2 Hell with the mindset to play the map in these early stages.
Yeah, they're playing the map excellently. They're making, I don't know, they're making Vitality Rising Beast look lost right now. Hypothetically, completely on paper, the Beast should have been the favorite team coming into this game, especially with Sakuromi being, a sub for G2 Hell. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case. They know exactly what they want to do. Sakuromi plays the lane, isolated, pretty fine. We just saw her dodging away from the enchanted crystal arrow without using any summoners, even with a spell ship being just blown. And the rest of the map is fantastic. Vyosna soaking nicely the weak side, the heavy quotation mark weak side, as she has been actually winning it, except for the CS, moving for the fights. I don't know, Rim being lost, Delicate being kind of in her jungle, trying to actually save scraps from her jungle because Lumi's always there together with Sheena, and they're just running the map.
That they are. No neutrals going to be on the map for either of these, or on the cards for either of these teams at the moment. We can see things coming down to the grubs now, however, from the side of Vitality Rising Beast. Sheena's just going to prefer to go back to clearing, get some of that gold, start to really build this snowball up for herself. Never mind, it's been pulled off seemingly. Grubs and Dragon, who needs them?
It's I think that Vitality needs them right now. They need some way to try and accelerate the game. There's already an Umbral Glaive for Graves, and yeah, let's not remember it was nerfed quite a while ago, so it doesn't insta-clear wards. You need 2 auto-attacks right now, but who really cares, right? It's you get 2 auto-attacks anyways, and you can then also reset. The vision clearance is excellent. They start the Graves, they know they have the Crab, they have the Prior from mid lane, and Lumi is also there.
Here's 2 of the crops we take already. There's the third. Paranoia comes down, has to go on to Vyoshna. Unstoppable onslaught up in 3 seconds, and the rest of the team can start to flap. Honda will flash away, unstoppable onslaught. Gonna go wide,
nice
arrows
arrow.
going to tag. It's only gonna tag onto Lumi. That's a flash. Delicate finds Lumi. Kelts goes down as well. Time facing gonna land on Lumi. Sheena's looking for something, anything. Gonna have to flash away from the fear. Takuromi has joined this fight, and a good knock up from this next smash onto
Ooh.
Rim means Vyojna goes on a killing spree off the back of a beautiful flash, but it's still 2-1 and the Grubs, and I'm not sure what side that favors.
I think it was just 1-for-1. No, who was the
No,
second one?
Lumi went down as well as
Lumi down.
Keltis.
So, okay, so 2-for-1. All of the grabs went into G2 Hell's pocket, so that's actually kind of fine for G2 Hell, especially considering the scaling. The fight looked quite in their favor until that long-range arrow hit from Cosmic. That was a very nice turn for the fight. Of course, Vyosna seems to be having the day of her life on this Silent pick, so she does turn around 3-0 and 1. Of course, not exactly the target you'd like, all that gold going in, but after a while, who's going to be dealing with that Cyanide? Maybe Bar Rise. I don't see anyone else actually dealing with all that HP in a sufficient amount of time before, you know, it becomes a real issue.
Definitely going to be difficult. Honda hovering around the mid lane again. Looking to try and keep Rim safe. 0-2-2 on this rise. Already a champion that has to scale. Gonna find that even harder much further out of this game. Dragon is started up by G2 Hell.
Yep. Once again, another neutral started by the G2 team. It will be theirs, most likely. I see Delicate being on the other side of the map, just trying to salvage anything she can. Invading, of course, will be on vision. So G2 Hell will know exactly what's going on. They will be able to fight later on if needed. And also, not even the whole cam goes into her pockets. And I don't really think you want to be diving the side. So we see Vyosna just going on the aggressive, even with a wave right now, doesn't really care. Level 11, so much HP.
Really, really hard to get anything to stick on this Ion as Paranoia's top looking onto Lumi. Arrow landed, but good use of the,
1 HP.
the Nether Grasp means that Sheena can pick up that one. The Tempered Fate does very little to save. Teleport in from OP. We'll see if anything can happen here. Public Execution should be up and available, but everyone's in a tower. It's just another good pick from Sheena.
Yeah, and it's a very, very frustrating game if you're a Vitality Rising Beast fan. You see them being there, trying to answer, but it's always too little and it's always too late. You're doing all those moves, you just get nothing, so that puts you further and further and further behind. You see, Ryazna once again was alone there, got the XP, I think got even a plate in her pocket, so she's quite fine. You didn't get anything in the mid lane. OP not teleport now, so if they want to play on the other side of the map, it's going to be hard. And it's quite easy right now for G2 Hell to just send Ryosna bot, make sure that she can push into the Rise. I don't think the Rise right now can do anything more than just bounce the waves and then just teleport into the play while OP needs to stay top. The Herald is spawning in 20-something seconds, so you can't really match the top laner move if needed, and that puts you in a disadvantage.
Most certainly does. Well, Stevie Arjuna look to get a reset off there. Could use that teleport to get back to the lane. Be on the side for this Herald fight. See the 280 carries, Sakurami and Cosmic really not too interested in getting involved in the early game scraps that are happening. OP looking to go slightly more aggressive on towards Arjuna, who is out of mana at the moment. Very little that can be done as the run walk comes in behind. Try and pull the wave. Dive's going to go through. Vyojna going very, very low. Sidestepping away from all the spells that she can. But will go down in the end to Rim. It's a shutdown into this Rise's back pocket. Great way to get back into the game.
Yeah, very, very nice pick from Rim as well. Oh, there's a pause. We don't really know why, but we're going to be back shortly. I really hope so, at least. And yeah, it was a nice answer. I really did not expect G2 to not be there to answer it. It's a play that would make sense. The Herald has spawned, so it really makes sense for both teams to play for it. It's really important to use it for the next Drake to either equalize them or get yourself ahead. And the mid lane tower right now, at least the tier one, seems so important for both of those teams, both for the Vitality Rising base, that it allows you to hit, push your line of vision and then hit those arrows uh, way deeper and way easier. And for the other side, for the G2 Hell to just like abandon mid lane for a bit, have your AD carry just bounce the waves and play for the silence, try to force situations there.
Yeah, absolutely. As we just get hit by the pause after the pause there for a moment. The Herald was started prior to the Scion going down by the side of Vitality Rising Bees, but it looks like they dropped it in favor of sending the Nocturne towards the bottom side. We'll see if they get anything done as Sheena and Alpha
Ooh,
move in.
Paranoia.
Paranoia comes down immediately as Honda's there. And the grasp onto the Nocturne will go very, very low. Not going to die though because camp healing thanks to the jungle pet. Alpha has to try and run up the hills. Rim getting a lot of damage down. Hasn't been able to spend the gold from the top player just yet, and will pick up a double kill. It's 3 kills into Rim's back pocket in the span of 30 seconds.
Yeah, and look at the goal difference swing right now. It was again in favor of the G2 Hell squad. Now it's 1.2 in the favor of the Vitality Rising Beast. Suddenly, the game is not in favor of G2. It's not even, and the Beast have complete control. Most of the lanes are kind of even, those 200, 300 goal differences doesn't really account too much. But look at Rim. More than 1k ahead. The 2 core items completely. So right now, she must be feeling very, very happy scaling up to Oblivion.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming close to being able to start on that third item, that actualizer that people have been so happy for on Rise.
Do you think it's going to be an actualizer?
Machine gun. I think so. I think we're
mean,
going to see Mercs into actualizer.
I mean, I'd love to say that, okay, I do love this item on Rise, because this damage would be close to lethal with an actualizer. However, there's so many people glazing, the Rocket Belt nowadays, so I think that's going to be her option. Everyone's building Rocket Belt first, second, and third, and people have forgotten about the other items, sadly.
I actually don't think I've seen it that much in LGC. That might be me not watching the right games, but...
No Chovy Glazer here? Good.
No, it doesn't look like it. We do have female Chovies somewhere in the... we either do or did somewhere on one of the teams. But yeah, no, I've not really seen many people build Rocket Belt, so maybe we see something different as this top tower should be the first one to fall for the side of Vitality Rising Bees. Bot lane to the one already gone in favor of G2 Hell.
And this Zambesa pick is becoming so annoying to deal with. Of course, a little bit of lethality there, the shield, I don't know how to call it, shield penetration, a little bit of shield on herself. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not the name, it's how do you call the effect?
Oh, shield reaver.
Anti-shield.
Shield reaving.
Reaver. Okay, so a little bit of shield reaver over there, lethality. If she even gets a cycle shot there, she is quite tanky by her own design. We see they're close to 2.5k HP. Her own resistances are fine because she's a melee champion. And then, if she hits you with an ult and you're not Sion, and maybe not Malzahar with the spell Shilong, you're kind of already dead.
Remember, strong in the top side as they can run what comes in. Arrow's going to go wide on Stop Onslaught use safety. Both Sheena and Vion are able to survive. But it is Vitality Rising Bees with the inside line at the moment. That Paranoia is going to be popped on towards this mid line. Not going to find purchase onto either of the bot laners, thankfully on the hunt from Sakuromi.
Ult use as well over there, and Flasher use as well from Sakuromi, so that's something to keep an eye on. Next time she won't be able to escape from Nocturne as easily. I see the Rift Hill has been restarted once again from the Rising Beast side. No ults from any of the team, means that it's most likely theirs unless someone's trying to steal, but that someone must be Graves, and Graves is on the other side of the map clearing his jungle before his team moves to the Drake.
Yeah, just gonna handshake this one away. Second dragon starts attacking. More than happy with that if you are G2 Hell. Gonna see either an Infernal, a Hextech, Imtech, or a Cloud Soul this game. This is of course an Ocean Dragon going down. It will be the Cloud Soul. No, the Infernal. That baited me for a second. That will be an Infernal Soul. That definitely showed a Cloud Dragon, right?
No, at least I didn't see it. I don't know. I am kind of spicy lately. Anyways, I did see the Infernal, and the Infernal, it will be very nice Drake to pick up if you're to the hell as well. If you manage to get that soul, you do have all those effects that can hit you from far away, slowing and dealing that extra little bit of Tristana bomb damage, as I like to call it. So if they manage to actually get to that point, they must be feeling very, very happy. However, that's a big if, because that needs 10 more minutes. And in those 10 minutes, you have to deal with Finn, you have to deal with OP, and they have started terrorizing your silence. We see, especially OP, hitting those starts time and time again, right in the face of Yosna, doesn't really care. And yes, Yosna might be a big piece of frontline that you really want to have in your solo games. Nobody can get past her. But what if you don't care about her?
Arrow on the Lumi is fenced away from by the Michaels as Paranoia gets straight into the back line and is now up in the back line. Hoping gonna TP in a good fate will land on Perfect. She's gonna be flashed away from, but Rim is able to find that one. And meanwhile, Opie gonna go down on the other side to Sheena. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Cosmic doing what she can, has to flash away, pop the barrier as well. Rim is carrying on the back side. Gonna catch on to Lumi, get a lot of damage. Sakurami goes down to Cosmic. Rio's not gonna trade on to Delicate. It's now a 3v3 again. But Lumi's not in this fight. Has to try and get away. Room Prison goes down, slowed up by the frost shot. Rio's tanking up whatever she can. Kind of just an immovable object at this point. It's just going to be a 2-for-2 come the end.
Yeah, what a back and forth fight. Who won? Who's to say? I'm gonna answer, because all of them got something and nobody got a huge defining lead. Still, the Rising Bees are keeping themselves in a healthy gold advantage, 2.1k. The Rod of Age is just stacked for Rim as well, so he's holding a very, very healthy 1.5 level lead over Altis, and she must be looking fine. Oh, there it is.
There was a lost chapter completed. I am hoping and praying that this is going into Actualizer. I don't know the build path I have. I know it's got a lost chapter in.
It should be Actualizer, because yeah, for sure the Rocket Bell doesn't have a blasting wand, and it does. So we're both happy right now. I'm pretty sure she will be dealing so much damage. Maybe just keep the Rocket Bells for both. I mean, don't go into the penetration side. You don't really care about it unless you'll be gonna be hitting Sion. And even if you're gonna be hitting Sion, at this point, I think, and I might sound like a heretic to people like Les, but Leandris, I feel, must be better, right? With so much bonus HP.
Potentially, yeah. I can see the value in it. I do think that the machine, you get more value out of the 10 item. There's a machine gunning them down. There is a bit of a fight going on in bot lane as Opie's gonna fall. Unfortunately, we missed that one.
I see, like, Diosna used her ultimate, Altis used her ultimate, so that was a lot of things used to pick up a kill onto OP. You're getting a push on the bot side, but there's no tower there, and simultaneously, you're trading the mid lane tier 1 for that, right? It should go down now. One more auto.
Surviving just about. On the hump was Pops to try and find another angle, but Good Magical Journey will take the rest of Vitality Rising Bees to safety. It is now G hell onto mid lane tier 1. Can't really step up for it. The wave split is solid on the side of Vitality. And it is going to be a game of inches in this mid lane.
Yeah, it is. This tower is as good as gone, right? The only thing it provides you is maybe one shot. Maybe Arena as well is as good as gone, as she's being chased down. Riosna also closing in. No flash.
Mikhail's away from dashing forward. Not a huge amount of CP here. Knock up just in time to cancel the round warp. And the kill is going to be donated to Sheena.
Oh, the arrow
onto Caltis. He's going to find the stun. Thanks for being popped. And Fate going to save her for now. She will go down. Not be donated to OP. Sakurami will fall to Cosmic on the other side. And where you find one for G2 Hell, there's another 2 for the Rising Bees.
Yeah, it's in the Joe's scheme of things, it's 2 for 2, 1 in the bot lane, 1 in the mid lane for G2 Hell, but immediately answered by the Rising Bees. Whenever they have their battles, they are looking to play immediately. And now the mid lane tier 1 drops finally. The Herald drops, but it drops way deep in your face, just to create that long-standing pressure for G2 Hell, right? They can leave mid lane, because if they leave, the Herald will eventually reach their side, the wave will push, and then they will lose the tower. So this Drake will go into the Rising Bees, they will start stacking them up, they will actually delay that win condition for the side of the G2 Hell team, and they still have one wave just passively pushing for them.
They do. The Herald is in the mid lane about halfway down at the moment. We'll see if G2 Hell can kill it before it gets a charge off. Like
Yeah,
it might
that
be
takes her wave.
doable. Caught on the wave, as you say. Sheena gonna get caught here in the middle of 3. Power not gonna land. Tempest State will. Cancelling the collateral damage dash back. Cosmic gonna go on a killing spree, and that's Baron on the cards for Vitality.
I mean, it should be at least the start of the Baron, but they're missing 3 key ultimates, right? There's no Tempered Fate, there's no Paranoia, there's no Enchanter, Crystal Arrow. And the teleport from Rim is very, very awkward.
It's indeed, but it's only Vyosna and Lumi in the area to try and stop this. Nakaromi's pushing on the mid lane. Kalsis is in bot lane, doesn't want to TP into this. Baron is going down, mid lane tier 1 will get taken. It's just playing to disrupt. They're not going to be able to get it. They're trying to buy themselves as much time to get resources on the other lane.
And that's such a nice injection of gold as well and power. Now they can easily siege the inner towers from all 3 lanes and even get the freestanding money that's the bot lane tier 1 tower. 3 items strong for Rim, 3 others strong for Cosmic as well. And those 2 carries are looking to carry the game right now into the end. Still, without any reset, Cosmic is still pushing the top side, and Vyosna is looking for a flank.
Is in the middle of 3 currently, however. Magical Journey will take under the safety, but now it is Delicate. Gonna get caught in the nether grass and will go down to Sheena. Rim is on the other side. Kind of into the middle. Everybody calls the flash. Rim will pull back on the Romy. Still going very low, but Rim isn't going to fall to Sheena. Tempered Fate is going to keep Kalsis alive for a second longer, and they have to retreat. She lives! Magical Journey will take Honda to safety, but it is at the cost of OP and Cosmic, as Sakuromi gets on the board with the double kill, and it's G2 Hell firing back once again.
Baron, what? I'm gonna say, as they bid a little bit more than they could chew, the whole Baron power play is at minus 2,000. Nobody from the side of G2 Hell died. They got all of the bows, bar the one on the Bard, which you don't really care about. Bard is not the most special champion in the world, especially 27 minutes in. And suddenly the game turned on its head once again. The goal difference is so low, it doesn't even matter. And it seems that you can get through Vyosna, you can get to the carries, and you can actually deal with the shields that Lumi can provide time and time again in those long, drawn-out fights.
Proving to be very difficult. We're now back to a dead, even game in terms of gold. Slow and steady as I 3 items, both the 80 carries. 3 items completed for Rim. 3 items completed Sheena. And for both Vyosna and OP. Just waiting for Cultis and Delicate to catch up to the rest of their team currently.
Look at Sheena right now, so strong, almost 4 items strong, 3k ahead from her counterpart. Of course, her items a little bit more cheap, so she can actually scale faster, but then maybe she hits a wall. But I don't think that Graves hits a wall. Everyone she hits right now, with 2 attacks and a spell, should be very, very close to dead, if not completely dead. And there's no GA on Delicate yet. There's no armor on OP, even on anyone. On the other side, Vyosna doesn't care, so how do you push into her? If she keeps the wave away from the tower, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, very, very difficult. Starting to carry a little bit now. It's worth mentioning Sheena still not close to this Infinity Edge, however, opting to go for the Lord Dominic's Regards next. So still a lot more power to come through for this trade. They're looking towards this bottom lane inner tower. Remember, Strong is going to hold off with 20 seconds left on this dragon. It would be soul point for G2 Hell if they get it.
If 2 big layers right now lane over G2Hell's shoulders, and they have to be very, very careful. If an Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits, it could spell the end of the game 1 for them. Now they are in control of Yosna. Pushing so much in that mid lane with Colty still being on the flank. They see Opie.
They catch Opie with the Nether Clash. Tempered Fate's gonna come down and catch Sheena. This could put her in a really awkward position. Stun doesn't quite land from Honda. Paranoia goes in onto Caltus's head, but already Opie's been annihilated from the fight. And Chakrasara's had to Sakaromi. She's healed. She's spell shielded. She is fine. Vyojna's buying all the space in the world for G2 Hell. And they come out on top 1-0 so far as this dragon is started up. He's on the Vitality Rising Bees to try and find that angle in. It's not on his own control. Honda gonna be the first one to step forwards. And you can see Delicate, she doesn't want it. She hasn't got the Paranoia. It's not worth it. Soul point to G2.
Very nice play from G2. Caltis with a flank, seeing Opie just going through that very, very narrow space in the jungle with no vision on that bush means that it's very easy to look. They already have all of their ultimates up and available. Once again, body on their hand, they can redo this. And if Vitality Rising Base don't cross their T's and don't dot their I's, they're gonna actually suffer the same consequences. There's no vision in any of the bushes right now over there from the blue side team. And if G2 Hell wants to play for the Baron spawning in 35 seconds or so, they do have complete control.
They do. So that top wave is currently being pushed out by OP. So it does get difficult. You've got to send someone to match it. You can see Vyojna moving up through the jungle now. You have the timer to get your vision down. Lumi sitting on all the wards in the world. So we see just how much this game has been swinging back and forth. Especially in the last 10 minutes or so.
Very, very tense game right now. Don't know still who's gonna get on top. But G2 Hell look like they have the upper hand, at least for now, but they don't look so sure in themselves.
Tempered Fate, gonna go wide, but Enchanted Crystal is gonna tag on a Sheena, and immediately the Paranoia's popped, and she's devastatingly wiped off the Rift. Now the grasp onto Rim, and the Public Execution doesn't tag onto Kelty, shouldn't even move, doesn't have to cancel the ultimate. On the very, very low here as Vyojna joins the fray. Good magical journey just to get to the back of the fight, but it is a 4 versus 5 with no jungler. Lateral damage was used, but the dash was not able to take her over the wall, which means the arrow was capitalized on beautifully by Vitality. Looks like G2 are contemplating whether or not they want to try and fight, as the health bars were a little bit low side of Vitality. Vyojna just gonna walk in. Realm Warp is there, not gonna be taken by anybody. Will go across to Vitality, secured by Delicate, and the fight can now start to commence. Sakaromi gonna get flashed on and die. Lumi is next. Paranoia used. Keltis able to find one, but will, and a second apparently, but will drop in the end. Vyojna now just stuck in the middle of three members rather. Will drop. Sheena the last member standing, and all she can do is look on in horror. There's 3 Barons getting out of this, and the gold lead once again, Rev, is back in B's favor.
I was so sure they're gonna lose their fight after the Baron, but that was not the case. They managed to secure them one by one, losing Rim and OP only. Of course, now that means that they can only push actually one wave. It's very, very hard to split the team in a way. You can push 2 of them with a Baron, but even 1 inhibitor down can spell the end for G2 Hell, and it was so close. Even the start of the fight, the initial pickup onto Sheena, it almost didn't happen. You need to spend so many spells, but still just enough for the Vitality Rising Beast to get a very, very nice 2k gold lead once again.
And with this Baron, they can start to look to crack some of these inner towers. Will be the first one cracked in the game if they can get one. Slowly but surely, this game is going to end. 1:15 on the next dragon. And it is Vitality who have the inside line to it thanks to Baron.
But see now, Obi's sitting there pushing the mid lane, but she has no Baron buff on top of her. That means no buffed up minion waves, no extra tankiness, and the waves can be cleared in the blink of an eye. So very, very hard for the Rising Beast to push 2 waves simultaneously as they're trying to do. And Vyosna still very, very beefy girl in the front lines, getting hit so many times, but no damage can actually stick to her.
So even with that Crypt Bloomer on Rim, it's difficult. That mid lane tier 2 will get cracked. This bot lane 1 is not long for this world either, and with 30 seconds left on the Dragon Spawn timer and 40 on the Baron buff, it is all Vitality for the next minute or so at very least, especially when you think about the tempo they're gaining from all of this.
Try and dive, right? I'm going to the Paranoia. OP trying to get the angle. Of course, she's on a ward. So that actually gives signal to the G2 Hell squad to just run away from the area. Now, one more tower taken. 50 more seconds for the Baron buff to expire. And the 5th Drake of the game just spawned in the area. So Vitality Rising Beast very, very graciously will just collect it and reset.
They will. G2 Hell not going to try and extend their hand too much in this situation. So, Honda might be not long for this world. Going to be able to get out with the Magical Journey. Trade of ultimates there between the support for Vitality and the jungler for G2 Hell as Paranoia is popped onto Kaltis. And the grasp is there, and there's a lot of damage to follow up. Gia going to be popped. The public execution lands onto Lumi, and OP's in the back line. 3 members are decimated from the rift. Sheena has to flash. Rumwalk comes in, and they're not going to let her get away with her life. Vyosna being run down the mid lane by 3 members strong. Delicate, Cosmic, and OP looking to take the Scion off the rift. Sheena's next. Not long for the world. Not much to be found. Honda's able to live. Rim's able to find it. It's a clean ace and what should be game.
It must be, right? The death timers are so long. Maybe minus Lumi who spawns in 20 seconds. But what can a single Karma do versus a 5-stack? And what in public execution from OP? She found the angle. She snuck in the backline. And suddenly, Sakurami was no more, Lumi was no more, Kaplis was no more, and the fight was over right as it started.
That it was. Vitality Rising Bees will take game number 1 against G2 Hell in this series, this best of 3 series. So it's not over yet, but it is match point. It was a back and forth game, but when Vitality had control, they kept it with an iron fist. For the most part, you could see in that goal graph that we saw just before the game ended, when it was in Vitality's favor, it was in their favor for a good majority of the game.
It was. However, it still looked so close. I'm so excited for the game too, and I really feel it can go the distance. Of course, we just saw a series from G2 Hell before where the first game was kind of good and even, and then the second one was a storm. So you never know what you're gonna see. G2 Hell are a very, very sneaky team, but the Bees, they actually know how to stick.
They do. Now, we are going to throw to a very quick break. When we come back, our wonderful desk is going to break down that game for you and get us all ready to go into what could be the final game of this series. So don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it.
Welcome back, everybody. After an action-packed game number 1 between Vitality Rising Bees and G2 Hell, one that I think we could say for a good portion of it, Rob, looked like it could have gone either way.
I've got myself in a VMix. That was a mistake. It really did. I do think that we kind of saw glimpses of how G2 Hell wanted to play as the game went on, but I do think Vitality Rising Bees in the end had a little bit more quality. Ash arrows landing onto crucial targets. I think there's one at the end landing onto a Karma. When your Karma can't use her spells and gets blown up, you lose a lot of power in that draft as well. I'm impressed by Vitality Rising Bees. I am impressed. However, I do think G2L, they can definitely come back in this. They definitely have shown enough talent so far.
Well, they certainly held their own, I think we could say, in that game, at least until a couple of crucial mistakes caused the end. We'll get to that, obviously, when we get to the clips. But what's your overall take on the game?
Yeah, I definitely agree that it felt like it was so back and forth. I mean, there was one moment where I really thought it was just going to be G2 Hell taking over and just stomping, because we saw in the last series from G2 Hell that the moment they get a lead, normally they're quite good at then pushing through with it. But that's not what we saw in this series. In this series, we saw this constant back and forth and back and forth. And I think in the end, that definitely favored Vitality Rising Bees. And they were the ones who just, in the end, played it more consistently.
I think the moments for G2 Hell, as you said, ended up being more isolated moments of greatness, individuals having pop-offs. And for most of the game, Sheena, for example, was so far ahead on the Graves, was doing really good damage, but it seemed like it was very important who she got the damage onto, right? If you got onto... if she was forced to hit any of the healthier members, it felt like that damage was just absorbed rather than it actually being very meaningful in the grand scheme. Yeah,
I also, the thing that is a concern to me, I will say here, for G2 Hell, is the fact that I do think you should have been outscaled. They should have outscaled Vitality's draft. They have Sion, they have Sivir. And yet they were losing these later fights, whereas there was moments prior to the end where the Sivir was starting to pop off. And I think that if you are G2 Hell, you're a bit concerned that you were able to stabilize for 15, 20 minutes and then kind of start losing your way as you got past 30.
Now, speaking of moments prior, we have a couple of clips coming up, the first of which I do believe covers one of these moments towards the top side where it did look like Sakuromi was really starting to open up.
Yeah, we see here we're just like, you know, it in the end, in the beginning, Sion is just so tanky. Nocturne gets caught out, and then it looked like, okay, maybe for a second now it can go bad. The TP from Ambessa comes in, Ryze ults in, but look at Sivir just free firing the entire time, completely untouched on this side. Ryze goes down, and then Sivir just moves so far forward. Look at her here; she's so aggressive with it.
It's funny because if you look at the start of that clip, she was actually in mid lane, and Sakuromi had to sprint to the top side to actually get involved in the play. But once she got there, she certainly got her money's worth out of it.
You close the gold lead. There was a little bit of a lead here for Vitality Rising Bees, and this is where I thought, okay, the scaling has come along. You got the Sivir, the Karma, the Sion. The Sion, in multiple instances after this, was unkillable. And I thought, once you confront like that, if you think about like the champs they've got, well, Nocturne would be jumping into a Graves, and Bessa would be jumping into the Graves and the Sivir comp with the Sion. So surely the mechanics of the fight should go in favor of G2L, but that was just not to be.
No, it's just a couple of very important times, like I believe in this second clip, is where important members just get caught off to the side.
You can see the arrow.
Yep.
They land onto Karma can't shield, and then they just play forward. And right there, the Graves doesn't get to put down. If you look at the damage numbers, 3.2k damage, it's not enough to get through the health bars in the end. They only pick up, whatever, a couple, did they pick up anyone? No. I think they only pick up like a little bit of damage, and that's it. I sat there looking at 5,000, 7,000 damage. It's still not going to be enough. Like, the Graves was the only one doing anything there. The Sivir didn't get to free hit. The Karma got blown up. The Malzahar couldn't play the game. And I think when you're able to play a fight like that as Vitality Rising Bees in a situation where your comp should struggle as it gets later, unless you get these angles, if we're talking about straight up 5v5s, are we talking about Vitality Rising Bees just having a better go of it? G2 Hell have to... they got to lock up a little bit here, because remember, this is Fearless. They don't have these team fighting tools, the San and the Sivir left available to them.
And the other moment that sticks in my mind, at least, after Bubbles, is the time where Sheena, who was, again, that big 5k ahead in gold at one point, I think, just in roll, where she steps upon mid too far away from her Karma, gets hit by an arrow, dies, and they give over the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It really felt like these Ashe arrows, they were so pivotal this game, where every single time they just find their mark. So just, overall very well played. But exactly what you said, I mean, if as this Karma, you have two different carries that you have to try to protect, the Graves on one side and Sivir on the other side, it feels a bit rough, because if they split up, where are you meant to go? We saw in that moment, Karma tried to run back and tried to cleanse the CC, but it was just not fast enough in time. And then, yeah, there's just the moment that Graves got hit with that Ashe ult, it was just completely over for them.
So, Rob, by your recommendation, it's time to close ranks as G2 Hell. Perhaps play something that sticks in the 5v5 more solidly, or has something...
I mean, you lose a few of the things that cause problems there, like the Ashe arrows landing onto Karma should never ever happen, frankly. I think you need to be playing in positions of Yosna where you're sort of thinking ahead of, like, okay, where's Ashe playing? Can I block these kind of crucial cooldowns? Because if we're able to play the fight slower and get Sivir clicking people and Karma shielding people, we win. It really is that simple. And they didn't have that happen. So I do think there's a bit sort of a case of positioning about denying enemy plays here. That's something that we often see people struggle with, is the idea of denying what the enemy want to do as much as doing what you want to do yourself. In terms of draft, we've already got a lot of very strong meta picks off the board with the Scion. Sivir's been seeing a bit of rise, the Karma's gone, the Ashe is gone, the Rise is gone. So I'm now wondering where they want to go. That you talk about J4s, I think this stuff is still banned. These champions, these AD bruisers, probably always taken off the board. Seraphine's up, but there's no Ashe pairing. So I think we're really already going down that tier list with what's already been removed in game one.
Zoe ban is an interesting call out. I was going to say that the ban's looking very familiar to game number one. Obviously, the other three bans we have seen thus far are the same as we'd seen in game one, but we'll see how the draft evolves from there.
Yeah, because they did go back onto the same sides as they were last time by this choice. Ezreal also now banned. This means at least two of the champions are going to be left open. Last time it was the Nautilus that was banned, it was the Caitlyn and the Jarvan that was banned. So at least two of those are going to be open here, and most likely going to have some presence.
So the Zoe ban is obviously against Rim. Rim has a very, very good Zoe. The thing I'm looking at is Nico, which is interesting, so that you're seeing G2 Hell kind of ban their own Nico. Honda can obviously play it, so they're maybe a bit worried about that being used. It is a very, very strong laning support that gives you very, very good engage potential with the Pop Blossom later into the game. Lots of things. The Jarvan's still up. Oh my god, they locked it immediately. I was saying the Jarvan's still up. That's taken it absolutely immediately. The Xin Zhao is something I could see here. I don't know if Sheena would bring out at least Sin into the J4. There's also a potential Wukong. That's where I'm looking at them going next, as well as maybe rounding out some bot lane picks. I do think this series could be a lot as we get deeper into pools about top when they can counter pick. There's going to be a Kiana almost definitely going into jungle, by the way. I don't imagine this is mid for Cultus for pick up for Sheena. It's pretty good into J4. So we can just play a talent, very good into J4's Cataclysm.
Yep, yeah. Just turn that ultimate into a reverse kill box. Anything stood around it, taking a big stun and a big chunk of damage. Sakaromi, this looks familiar. Game number one, as they played earlier today. They picked that one.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to be pairing it again with something like the Nautilus? Because it is still open this time, but, on the side of Vitality Rising Bees. Okay, Aurora is coming through.
Combo.
Interesting.
Bit of a wombo, a bit of a combo. J4 jumps in, Aurora jumps in as well, the between worlds. This Ziggs is a flex, so it's harder here to pin it down what you want. The Aurora itself is also a possible flex, so we're seeing that. I love flex in League of Legends. I love being able to say this is where this champ's going. Aatrox, never mind. If that is the Aatrox, they've broken the flex already. They've decided it's an OP classic. Take it away from Viosna as well. I wonder what Viosna wants here into it. There's people play Renekton. There's What else is there? Gwen historically was pretty good into Aatrox. Champs like that. They're just going to lock Ari, so that
Ari
breaks the
in
flex
there.
there as
Okay.
well. Will be Zig's bot.
But now looking also, it feels like, what are we going to do in the bot lane for the side of Vitality Rising Beast? I assume Caitlyn is going to be banned out. And then you want something, you know, that is still self-sufficient enough and not going to get absolutely burst down by just the constant poke that can come out from the Ziggs in the bottom lane. So how are we going to play this out in the bottom side for Vitality Rising Beast?
Not really good pick. I'm trying to think of it. Like Varus got really heavily nerfed on the patch. Poke Varus in particular. So playing that, you're playing a bit of a suboptimal champion at the moment. It really has been pushed towards that on-hit variety. I'm trying to think of other champs
away,
here.
so that bot lane pairing with Sakurami is taken away. Obviously, with the Ziggs, you really want something engagey. You don't. Enchanters basically do not function alongside the Ziggs, really.
Still banning Vayne. They're banned Vayne. I think they're going to target Viosna, obviously, in top here, Vitality Rising Bees. I think with the Aatrox, which, you know, is obviously going top lane, I think they just get rid of any of these more difficult to play against ranged top counters. Makes a lot of sense. The Senna takeaway, that could have been an option, but Senna generally doesn't like pokey kind of lanes, although she does generally outscale everything at some point. I think you just grab your engage. Very likely here is engage. You could go engage support on 4 and then still go top counter on 5, but you already see the Aatrox. Maybe they just are still going to wait to see the entire draft. They're going to grab Jace. That's fine. I mean, it's pretty good into
Honestly,
Aatrox
I
in
like
general.
leaving support till 5 here because then
Lots
you
of
know
poke.
what you're into.
You do. I mean, what you could do here, you say you want to engage with Ziggs. They kind of need engage even more on the side of Vitality Rising Beast. I don't think Jarvan's enough. If you're playing Ziggs on one side, then they're going to go for a Seraphine over the top of it. Okay, that could be it still could be a Seraphine
MF
bot.
is still up. Yeah.
It could be a Seraphine
MF
bot.
Seraphine, you know, it works. It's not as good as the Ashe Seraphine combo, but it does still have some kind of a slow. And worst case, you can press your ult to clear the wave, but
No, Seraphine bot. Seraphine carry.
it really They did actually go with it. Okay.
I think they need more engage. I think they're going to really struggle against double poke with Ari being able to not be shut down and Kiana playing on an angle. So I can see why they've gone for a Seraphine carry with a
What's
sort of
the
engage
wall
support,
here, though?
something in the bot side.
What's the wall here for support? Are we looking at like a Brom angle to counteract the likes? Never mind. Nope, it's just gonna be a Rel. When we talked about engage,
Rel, I think people don't understand. I think there's a very famous quote. Was it Marto Cannon said, anything that can be used to engage can be used to disengage. And so people sit there and they look at Rel and Braum and they go, Braum's great. Alistair can actually ruin Braum's day in some cases. Headbutts the Braum away, positioning very, very hard to peel in that regard. If the Braum jumps forward first and then the Alistair knocks, Braum has no way to get back in there. The Rel here is simply another way of them being able to actually play out fights, because at the moment they have Kiana ult, and then they're hoping for a charm from Cultists, so they're just looking for more playmaking potential to let them actually play forward if they get a lead in the game.
there's a lot of weight on Lumi's shoulders here to be basically the entire front line for her team this game, where you're placing into an Alistair ring towards you, an Aatrox who can just run at you if he so chooses, and the Jarvan looking for the engage angle as well. That being said, one good Magnet Storm to blunt and engage, and you're then going to be dealing with Accelerated Shock Blast or the Ziggs Poke with the bomb over the top. And then Cultists and Sheena can play with that sort of side-angled stuff.
Yeah, possibly. I think that's how they're going to look. I mean, the big thing here is you poke from distance, and then you look to engage on the squishy members that have been taken down to half HP. It's really, really that simple for G2 Hell. I do think this should be a better game, a game where they have the ability to play this out in an easier way.
Alrighty. With that said, we're ready to head on to the Rift for the second game. Rising Beast obviously wanted to close this out. We'll see if that happens. Luna and Rev, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rakish and Co. Now, we heard very quick talks about the support matchups and why Braum is not great, but off of memory, Rev, Rel is countered by Alistair just based on combos.
I mean, it's kind of a skill matchup, right? Early in the game, it's really hard for Rel to do anything. However, she plays kind of a chess-like matchup into Alistar, where she's like, okay, I don't know how you played Pokemon, but it's kind of the same. If you do this, so if you engage, which Alistar really likes to engage, the headback pulverize combo is almost guaranteed combo to get someone where you want to be and stay there and get an actual nice chunk of damage early in the game as well. But if you do this, your backline is exposed, and first I can stun you, and then I can move to your backline. So it's kind of a game of chicken. Will you engage? Will you do it now? No, you won't, or maybe you will, and now we have to play from flanks and yada yada yada. So it's a really nice chess or bluff game between those two. Both of them can engage. I think Alistar is a little bit better on the disengage and peel side, whereas Real, she is built for engaging, and she does that one job extremely well if you let her.
Absolutely. So, looking across the drafts as a whole, we've heard the desk's thoughts on them. Where are you? Well, on the very low, Ignite already popped from Lumi here. What are your thinkings on the drafts as a whole?
I'm not sure how I feel about G2 Hell's draft. It has a lot of win conditions, but you have added a lot of layer of difficulties onto you, right? You don't have any other engage except for Rel. Kiana can scale up, and I've seen a lot of Kiana clips lately where she finds people and one-shots them, but that's solo queue. And it's not the same as competitive play always. That's why we don't really see assassins in competitive play all that much, where it's communication and vision, and it makes catching people unaware so difficult, and way harder for them to actually get squashed like backs from the assassins. On the other hand, Vitality Rising Beast, they do have 2 engages, which can be used to pills. Scaling champion, I'm talking about the Aatrox, who is very hard to kill, and especially with the Seraphine following up behind them with both. Oh, wait.
There's a lot of damage going down in this fight. Actually, I was going to let you talk, but health bars are going very low. Sheena has to flash away, as did Vyozhna in that play. Moving the supports up for first scuttle is not often done, but in mage lanes it's doable, and I mean, apparently it's paid off for Vitality.
Yeah, it did pay off. You got it. 2 summers, very important ones, and suddenly Jace hasn't have the lane dominance he wants to have. Of course, with the teleport, Vyozhna will be back in lane just in time to collect all that wave, so she will be still ahead in CS, but that means that she's now prime real estate. If Delicate just wants to take her roam around topside once again, maybe skip a couple of camps and make sure that Jace can truly play the game from now on.
Yeah, and of course the Jace that falls behind struggles a lot. Cultist's flash and Rims both down from that mid lane as well. Seems there was a bit of an extended trade there. So already 3 flashes gone from the side of G2 Hell already, as Lumi gonna look to just cancel the reset of Rim here. Not gonna be able to commit too much, of course. It is still a Rel.
Very annoying, however. So now Rem will have to go back later, maybe lose a couple of CS. We'll still use the teleport, which she could have avoided if her initial reset could have been completed. And a very nice move from Lumi as well. Now the map has been kind of reset. The scuttles have been split in the end. And Delicate is a little bit fast on the clear. So we might see another Skirfall from the top side. With Open now bouncing the wave in. And it's a cannon wave. It's very hard to push in. Vyozhna needs to know... needs to know that Jarvan should be clearing towards the top side. He should be there first. And she should be very scared of any potential, I don't want to say dive, but gank.
Yeah, absolutely. Vyozhna did look to take a reset there. I couldn't quite find it. This wave being shoved in. Does have Sheena in the area. So if something did happen on this top side, wouldn't be complete numbers disadvantage.
The thing is, like right now, what will Ziggs do? You are still scaling nicely, okay, and you will be able to do some very nice damage from long ranges. But is there at any point in the game gonna be enough damage to actually deal with any of the enemy's threats? With the Seraphine being there to heal her up. Because Seraphine also scales up, needs a little bit of time over there, but if she gets to that level 15, 16 area with 2-3 items under her belt, even if the items are going to be full AP, so she will be able to deal damage, the double W with her passive is going to be very, very strong. And extra heals coming from the Alistar, even for a little bit, are fine to sustain through the lane. The shielding from, Delegate's W is enough to proc the extra healing from her W as well. And if you manage to sustain for the Aatrox, very nice trade over there.
Yep, just a trade of ultimates. Good damage coming through for the side of Rim. Kaltis just trying to clear what she can of the wave with the last couple of charges of that ultimate as well. And as you were saying, I mean, yeah, this bot lane, sustain is the name of the game for the early stages side of Vitality, but as we get later into this game, Cosmic's going to become a force to be reckoned with because they've got a very standard Deathball comp going.
Some nice damage there from Obi. She still hasn't even built anything that much. Just reset, got the plated steel caps. Oh,
delicate.
And now Yosna is in trouble.
Is indeed. Flag and Drag missed. Cataclysm is still up and available. Just going to walk at Vyojna for now. Altis and Lumi hovering in the area, just trying to make something happen. It's like OP might be a little out of position here. Flash forward, Shattering Strike, crash down, will find so much damage. Well done to Pops, flashed away from. Cataclysm comes down onto 2, and Delicate's able to find the first blood onto Vyojna. Lumi going low now as well, as Sheena's being kept out. Couch is able to trade back 1 onto OP. And a good Supreme Display talent will force Delicate up into the wall. It's G2 Hell coming out on top of this, despite Vitality's best efforts.
I mean, G2 Hell looked lost until it was a 3v4 with the Kiana being there earlier, and I don't know why, but Rim never moved. She never was able to push that wave in completely. That gave G2 Hell an answer to that play. They're still behind, but they must be feeling pretty nice with that, with both Kaltis and Sheena picking up from a kill each, especially Sheena. She wants herself being accelerated so that she's going to be an actual threat into the Seraphim.
Absolutely. Of course. Sakurumi, more than happy to just sit in this bot lane and farm up against Cosmic. See, Honda tried to make something happen there, tried to keep Sheena out of the fight, just couldn't quite buy enough space while the fight was going on.
Now the Drake has spawned. First grabs of Swan. Both of the teams kind of, ignoring that first Drake, as we saw in the previous game, playing a little bit slower around the map. Raim now is moving, making sure that her team have them numbers advantage around the grab pit, but they're still not committing. They know
Eyes
that
on Sheena.
Yeah, Sheena must be around and she's on top.
Jump on OP. Worldender had to be popped. Health bar is ticking low. He's going to go down to Vyojna in the end. Might stop any inkling or grubs take to the side of G2, which means they should just go across to Vitality quite comfortably. And of course, the first dragon is once again a mountain dragon, so might not see too much contest on it over the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and the first grabs are very nice. We saw in the previous game Vitality almost didn't get a tower because they had 0 grabs. Now, G2 using their tempo on the top side, is a Delicate can at least grab a couple of them before moving to clear the rest of her camps towards the bottom side, or maybe even trying to fight. But that was a very painful death for OP over there. No flash, no teleport, and that wave lost to oblivion. Suddenly, the goal lead she fought so hard to get for herself is completely evaporated.
That has Sheena and Lumi looking in towards Delicate's jungle here, just trying to keep this Jarvan away. Could see a potential dive opportunity on the bottom side of the map here as Delicate just has to go back into her top side. You can see, yep, the bot lane smells something. They're having to back away.
With the Alistar still not being level 6, it's a little bit risky to allow for the dive to even occur. After that point, it's very easy for you to try and get at least a couple of trade kills over there. Alistar can keep people in places, and under tower especially. And the pick himself will not die with all the damage reduction, but so far they're not willing to risk it. Honda walks back. Cosmic as well. Now we might have a fight with Rel actually sneaking around the area. And Honda also approaching, but she's on vision.
She is delicate, is in the wings, however. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much. Just trying to get pressure to get vision down in the enemy jungle.
Couple of camps stolen away. Using that time very, very well. Drake still not started. And that's actually good right now for the Bees. They want the game to actually stay up longer, everyone to scale up. This time it's the enemy team playing with just poke, and you have all the sustain in the world. Once again, I might tire people out by saying this time and time again, but I imagine Aatrox 2-3 items strong, together with Seraphine 2 items strong, but Alistair right now might be dead.
Yep, Honda. Gonna be able to dodge away from the stun, but will go down in the end to Lumi's Ignite, of all things.
It's a very nice vision game from the G2 Hell squad. I don't know if we can watch this, but the whole quadrant of the right side from Delicate has been illuminated completely. They knew exactly where Honda was, when she was there, and what she wanted to do with the Drake just spawning. The unfortunate thing for them is that they got the support with only an ultimate used, and they spend their tempo for the Drake, but now with Delicate caught out and a flash used, that might be time to play.
Certainly could be. Honda has returned, however. Pulverize forces the flash out of Lumi. Rim is in the area, finds a good ultimate across everybody. Mega Inferno Bomb, however, is going to cause Delicate to go very low. Magnet Storm is going to secure the kill for Lumi. Will go down to Rim in the end. Sheena has no flash anymore. Honda is going low. It's a 4 versus 4, as both top laners have joined the fray. Good knock-up coming through from Oki on to... It's a beautiful encore. Rim will find Vyojna. That's a couple of good moments found onto this Jace. And it's going to be a winning fight for Vitality in the end.
Yeah, it was a very back and forth fight, but with Opie being so patient with her spell, just making sure that she creates space, gets away summoners from both Cultists and Vyojna, and with Sheena spending her flash earlier when she was in the Cataclysm of Delicate. That means that Cosmic, very patient as well, managed to connect with a lot of spells, the double bit drop, the ultimate as well, getting kill, and the fight win for the side of the Vitality Rising Beast. Now, OP goes top, gets the extra plate, but everything is happening on the other side of the map, so she has to move almost immediately towards the mid lane.
Certainly does. And that was worth mentioning. All flashes, bar Sakuromi's, were forced out of G2 Hell in that fight. The only ones used on the other side were Rim and Delicate. So there is a advantage for the side of Vitality Rising Bees if OP can join up the rest of the squad. Still looking to fight over this Dragon priority, however.
G2 Hell just tries to find picks time and time again. They try to accelerate the game. They know that right now they are in a very nice spot. Everyone has completed an item and a half even. Bar, of course, Vyojna. So they know that they are in a very strong spike for themselves. They try to make most of it. However, it's not really working. And the longer it's not working, the longer they're just stalling a game, which they could have been progressing. There's no progression happening. In the last 5 minutes or so, the gold is close to even. And they are getting more and more desperate to try and find a lead somewhere. We see Sheena time and time again just running in the shadows, trying to find a flank on somebody.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of the game 1 early game, right? We aren't seeing a huge amount of action, and what action we are seeing is largely equalizing itself over time. What is different is this Dragon still being up 15 minutes into the game.
They tried to get Vyojna. Vyojna was just out of range of the Cataclysm, as it seems, so nothing happening there. But with Honda still being there, I think they have to stay in the area, otherwise they're just sacrificing OP. The Herald has spawned, and G2 Hell are in the area, so they are not exactly starting it, but they are contemplating it. Do we really want to commit the time over here? Do we know what the enemy is? And the answer is no to the second one, but the first. That might be true. And now, but nobody shows their face, and they have just a smidge of vision. They know that they have to be wary of the bot side as well.
They do is the Herald will go across the G2 Hell, as you say. And, I mean, there's no real threat on anybody else from their roster at the moment. Resets were just taken by 3 members in the top side, which allowed them relative safety to kind of do whatever they pleased for a little while. So a good use of their tempo to take away that objective. We'll see where they decide to use it. You'd wager it'll be on this mid lane tier 1 to give them more control, but time will tell.
I'd say they want to use it on the next Drake, but it's still the first Drake, right? And it's
still the first
already
Drake.
almost 17 minutes in. So it's kind of the opposite of sunken cost fallacy, right? Usually you are saying, hey, we spent so much time getting all those Drakes. We have to get the next one, right? Now it's the opposite. They spent 0 time. They got no Drake. So do they have to get anything?
Yojna under fire from a gank here. A lot of healing coming through from OP there. Cataclysm immediately dropped to allow this play to go forwards. A good flash to escape tower range. And Yojna will drop once again. Beautiful from the top jungle of Vitality Rising Beast. The mid lane tier 1 will go down to that Herald in the end, as we mentioned. And it's just a back and forth trade, blow for blow.
And I saw the tower being almost full HP, and I thought, hey, it's not gonna drop, right? But I forgot that the Ziggs exist. You get it low enough, it's gonna be done. Qiyana use an ultimate.
Oh! Rim using that between worlds beautifully to try and get away from the Supreme Star talent. Will not be able to get it in the end, so it's just traded the ultimates, but very, very good attempt.
Yeah, losing the red buff as well, so Sheena gets something back for herself, keeps herself in the game very close to 2 items for that Qiyana. And she's getting dangerous for your carries. If she manages to connect with the Seraphine, she manages to pull to connect with anyone, I'd say, even the Aatrox so far, because Aatrox only has plated steel caps as any sort of survivability. I don't even count the 2 ruby crystals existing in the Thunder Skies gold path. It's quite easy for you to execute them if you don't give them the chance. It's a very fast champion. You blink and you die. That's what they want to do. However, you need to always find them. And right now the vision is quite fine on the Vitality Rising B side. And OP seems to want to take the fighting chance right now.
And it does. Pops the World Ender and looks for Sheena. Finds the first sweet spot and forces the flash. Teleport through from Rim just to dissuade the other 2 from chasing through. And Vitality are choking G2 out of any play they want to make.
And still, no Drake. Look, they were in the area. They know that the enemy team is on the other side of the map, but they don't really want to commit the time for that. I'm not really sure what's going on with those mountain Drakes, but everyone seems to hate them. Now Ray might be in trouble. Has the ultimate in 2 seconds.
Number 2 Electric Boogaloo, Shattering Strike misses. Charm will land. A lot of damage. Crashdown is there. Good jump back, but the Magnet Storm will do good work. A rift between worlds, however, with how low Keltis is, will be the call of the day. Sheena is moving in as Keltis finds the charm onto Delicate. Cataclysm comes down, flash is used. Supreme Stair talent isn't gonna do too much, but will find a kill onto Delicate in the end anyway. I got scared then because it was gonna hit Keltis square in the face. I forgot it was on the same team as her.
Yeah, it's so weird the interaction there, as it didn't hit Jarvan, I think, who was inside the Supreme Display of Talent, inside the Cataclysm, but still, it was 1 kill for none, and G2 Hell somehow runs away scot-free for this whole interaction. It is excellent for them how they managed to get those, but it does feel so sketchy, right? It doesn't feel very, very, I don't know, solid plays. It feels like Vitality Rising Beast has the answer, but time and time again they manage to get away. So do this a couple more times and suddenly you have a completely different game. And although I'm rambling time and time again about the scaling factor from the side of the beast, if you actually allow them to survive, you might be in trouble when the late game comes.
Yeah, you absolutely may be. Game is advancing at about the pace we'd expect, though, except for one aspect, and we keep going back to it because it doesn't make a huge amount of sense in the grand scheme of things. This first dragon still being up and available, even though it's a mountain dragon, we are getting to the point where that is going to become very useful because you have resistances built across different items in your builds. If we leave this much longer, we're looking at a 50-minute soul. I don't think either team really wants that.
Yeah, maybe with a huge question mark, the beast. because they do want to take those, slower team fights, making sure that Aatrox can heal up, Seraphine can lay out all her spells, go through her own teammates with the ultimate. But still, yeah, you don't really want to leave a game up and available for taking so long, because anything can happen, mistakes happen, even as players. So you don't want the nerves to take hold of you in this game. But it might, right? So one here, we only have seen one tower drop. The rest of them have, 2-3 plates still. G2 just want to get a huge fight and run through your turrets with the explosive satchel from Ziggs. The Bees want to take it slow. The thing is, I'm kind of missing a very, very decisive execution from both of them. That's the only thing I'm missing. So the moment I see one of those teams decidedly go for a play and committing fully, I think we're going to see a glimpse of the result of this game.
Yeah, I mean, another point on that, with the whole wanting to use the Ziggs to cut through towers, you also don't want Vitality to get this Mountain Dragon, because it makes your poke less effective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
True.
so important for actually getting these towers down and sieging with this composition, is you need your Ziggs poke, your Jace poke to actually stick. You see that top lane tier 1 fall? It is G2 Hell with 2 towers to none on the other side. They've accrued themselves a nice little 1,000 gold lead, just over.
Oh, teleport? The bottom side? OP might be in trouble.
Teleport flank in the bottom side. Looks like we could be seeing a dive onto OP. Rim doesn't have that teleport up and available again just yet. 4 members strong, no vision, no information. You now see Sheena behind you.
No one's running, the
Rim is in the area. Teleport is coming through from Cosmic, as it looks like Vitality want to try and force this fight a bit further. A good use of the Between Worlds to catch onto Sheena. You can't really get in. You've given the space, and so the poke can land. A good dive onto OP from the side of G2 Hell.
Yeah, that's the decisiveness I wanted to say before. And G2 Hell just commits to the play. Vitality Rising Beasts are like swallowing the bait. They just run from the other side of the map. They're doing nothing to try and equalize the play from the other side. They could have played for the... I don't want to say Baron. It's very early. You don't really have the damage, but you could have played for the mid-tier 1, trying to dive into Ziggs. You could have played for the top tier 1, trying to get some gold back for yourselves. But you run all that marathon just to be a tourist over there, and now Honda might be in trouble.
Honda is in trouble, even with that Unbreakable popped. It's surviving for a long time now, actually. A good encore. Gonna tag onto both the bot laners of G2 Hell, and Rim's found Sakuroni. Sheena will drop, and all it takes is one, ladies and gentlemen. Vitality Rising Bees look onto the Baron. Sheena's gone, so there's no smite contest. There's a spellbook on Lumi. But look to trade this out as Kaltis going in, misses the charm, able to get back out. Lumi flashing over the wall with that Hex Flash. Vyojna now teleporting in on the ward in the long rush next to mid lane. See if they can find anything. Honda flashing forward, gonna get charmed out of it and will go down. Delicate has to try and get away, is ignited. Double kill for Kaltis as Rim falls. It's now OP left on her own. And it's a double kill going across to Vyojna. A good punish from G2 as they now start up this Baron with a teleport coming in from Sakuroni. And Sheena moving in. The back and forth is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they will definitely complete this Baron, I think. They should have the damage, even if one of them drops in the end. Sheena just runs in, still 7k. Delicate didn't stack around, no vision over there. Oh my god, are they?
God, I don't think they can actually.
Oh
okay.
No, they still can.
Lumi's down, Vyojna was close, Kaltis was close. They've got 4 Barons, it's fine.
The Kaltis, no mana. Vyojna, no HP. They still managed to secure the Baron. Yeah, I think if Delicate would have stuck around, it would have been almost a pentakill for Hell. But, she didn't. So that's the end of that story. And it was a fight of inches, literally. The moment they killed Alistar, suddenly Kaltis got a stack back for her ultimate. And then another one. And then she could keep chasing them and actually dashing all around the fight. And it just needed a second or two to expire. It was really so close, and the patience was actually lacking from the Vitality Rising Beast. They got nothing on the map, no turrets, no Baron, and now they find themselves on the back foot.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Now at 3,600 gold in the lead, our G2 Hell. This first dragon It's still standing. It's been here for 25 minutes and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We've had a Baron in the time it took these teams to even consider the first dragon. Which is incredible to say, by the way. It's so, so rare we see. This is Sheena gonna get caught by OP. Good use of the Screams Blade talent. Gonna flash away from the Encore.
Oh, look at Kaltis.
Kaltis is on the backside looking for OP. Might be stuck. A good charm goes through and does tag onto her. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to find its mark as the healing comes through from Cosmic. And it's now Kaltis stuck behind enemy lines. Flashes forward, looks for the charm, finds it onto Rim. In goes Delicate, finds the Cataclysm. Down goes one. Vyoshna finds Honda on the other side. However, it's a shutdown into Rim's back pocket. Sheena's looking on Delicate. Delicate to get away for now. But Lumi is continuing to hunt. Good healing from the Sundered Sky, however. Will keep this Jarvan alive for just a second longer. Looking on to Lumi. But over the wall comes the damage of the earth from Sheena. These fights, they're playing long. And Sheena's one shot by Rim. It's a game of inches, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are seeing teams take what little moments they can to try and find something. The gold lead, it hasn't moved off the back of these picks, off the back of these plays. The Baron has about 40 seconds left. Only about 500 gold been generated off this objective. Not a single tower has been taken. And the Bees, they're trying to fight back.
And they are managing to fight back. Obi somehow survived. Delicate got a kill, then she died, then they got a return kill. It was literally a fight of inches, but I think that G2 Hell right now are losing those inches as the Baron expired. Didn't manage to do anything with it. They didn't progress the game, and there's only one thing staying the same in this whole game, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the first Drake still being there.
There's no Drakes in my game. There's no Drakes in my game. We don't want them, don't need them. No Drakes in my game.
That was nice. Was that from Made in the Beast?
That's what I was basing it on. Yeah, I don't know how much I actually stayed to the tune of it, but here we are.
I mean, it was. If I got it, then I think everyone got it. Like, I am not the most Disney kid anymore, so you know. Now,
Me neither.
it's still a game of inches. Everyone can die. If we get a slow fight, we saw that Rising Beast can do stuff, and everyone plays for vision. Sheena, very nicely staying in the shadows. Yosna clearing every bush with her accelerated shrub blast, so they are managing to get more and more space in that game. But it's still, if they check into the Aurora, you're as good as dead, right? We saw how much damage can Rim do right now. 3 items strong for that Aurora. If you do the same into Sheena, you are seeing the screen go gray for the next couple of seconds, and Opie still needs one more item. If she completes that extra item, I think it should be something of the sort of the Spirit Visage, or she actually got the what's it called? I don't know. Could be Cleaver. I think it also can be a GA right now. So if you die, you can revive. You can still be a huge threat.
GA doesn't have a Ruby Crystal.
Yeah, but the Ruby Crystal is always nice if you get just 400 gold and want to run back into the map. No, one of the most useful components.
Yes, but the components on Steel Sigil, which goes into GA, are 2 cloth armors and a longsword, or 2 longswords and a cloth armor, I think, rather. So can afford both of those with Ruby Crystal money, as well as wards or potions. So I think we're looking at a cleaver or something similar coming in for OP here. I don't think GA on 3 right this moment is what they need. They just kind of need something to help this Aatrox survive longer, not come back just as squishy.
Aurel, very nice flank.
Lumi has found onto OP. Ignites come down. Kaltis is hunting. Sheena's hunting. Are they finally going to take the dragon? They're posturing for it. No, don't be silly.
No, they won't. Come on. We've been casting this game for almost 30 minutes. Do you see any like I don't know,
of a dragon?
You know, there's no drakes in my game. You just sang about it. True. Anything that can be sung, it's true. It's the law.
This is true.
Baron will be respawning in 12 seconds time.
Stalemate though.
Is where everyone is posturing, and now Honda trying to claim some space for her team, loses a quarter of her health for that. Plus, the Celestial Shield, Celestial position, dropping as well, but they can heal up if they wish to use the kind of long cooldown of their W. OP on the other side of the map have teleport,
at this point.
but no wall to teleport to.
What is the call from these two teams? You can see G2 how they're just posturing, looking for a catch before they take this Baron.
Just one word. I'm just looking for where OP can actually teleport, but right now maybe the call is, hey, if they don't commit, never teleport. We have to get some gold back for ourselves, and that's what you do.
They finally cracked the tower. Gonna see a bit of a 1v1 here. Phase Rush, or sorry, Storm Raider's Surge being popped there by Vyojna to run to
Back
safety.
in my day, it was called Phase Rush.
Back in my day, it was called Phase. Actually, no, back in my day, it was Storm Raider's Surge because I played before the rune changes came in. As Sheena's caught in her own jungle, Encore over the top. She's being CC locked. She is gone as Rim finds the shutdown on Vyojna in the other side. Lumi's looking for something. A good rift between worlds will keep her safe. Flash away from that Great Chrono Bomb. There's nothing to be found. OP able to flash away as well. Countess in the area looking for something, looking for anything. Finds the Rocket Belt. That's one. Able to use Spirit Rush to get back to safety. OP now being shepherded away. I can drag under the tower, but there is a wave, and there's not much there for them to tank up for. Lumi looking for more. Tower will go down. This is all rising bees at the moment. About 1,000 gold swing so far. Still in favor of G2, but not by as much. And the dragon's still not on the cards, by the way.
Yeah, and it looked fantastic for the rising bees up until the point that OP didn't manage to take the Darkin step through the wall, so she had to spend her flash. Now they can just go top, take a tower maybe there as well. Finally, some towers drop. Finally, they get some gold under their belt. Seraphine very, very close to the Relay Crystal Scepter as well. She changes her mind, goes for the Arm Guard, wants to keep herself safe as well in the end of the day. And there's a Spirit Visage for Delegate. She knows that she has to engage. And on the other hand, it seems that it will be a cleaver for the Aatrox. I'm not a huge fan in this game, but at least it gives you HP, it gives you a bit of haste and AP, and what more do you actually want as an Aatrox?
And Armor Shred, which is always quite nice. Now, ladies, please, can we take this first dragon? I'm begging.
No. I mean, I think at this point taking this dragon, it's gonna be a disrespect, right? You're just spending, I don't know, you're gonna need 8 seconds, you're gonna look at this dragon, it's gonna melt, it's still... I'm not sure how dragons scale nowadays, but it's not completely a scam, so it doesn't stay level 1, but it's still the first Drake, it should melt, right?
It's only got like 5,000 health, if that.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny. But yeah, new Drake so far. They're all pushing around Baron. Vyojna could have looked at the Drake and just take it, but it doesn't want to spend the time. In this economy, just going for the Drakes, that's not really worth it, right?
Sheena could take it in 10 seconds. 10 seconds, that's all it would take.
I mean, you're exaggerating. It's 4 seconds.
This is true. It would be even less.
I mean, if the Drake right now has, let's say, 7k HP, okay, we're being very generous, right? Your smite is 1400, and your double combo at 4 items strong. If it's
there's a baby Kruglet. It lives.
Oh no!
Be free, little guy. Be free.
No, it lifts us. Ivern doesn't kill the cams. You know, he's freeing them. The heavy wing.
Friends of the forest.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, we're in a stalemate. Flag and drag onto Lumi here. The teamfight might start to come to fruition. Never mind. Everyone's disengaging. Good lord, we're gonna be here for an hour.
Yeah. Yana has that spell shield as well. They know that it's going to be harder to engage on top of them.
Honda finds onto Lumi. Magnet Storm is there. Sheena able to find a good sprint as their talent as Honda goes down. Encore over the top. Will tag onto 2 as Rim finds Sheena. Kaltis looking on the side. Isn't going to find the charm, however. As now Sakuromi's in trouble. Almost one shot by Rim. Beautiful damage coming out as Aurora. 3.3k damage in this fight alone. Rim is on top of the world on this Aurora. The bunny girl is hopping, skipping, and jumping her way to a damage chart.
Is it true? Are we gonna see it?
Yes!
Only 33 minutes and 41 seconds for somebody to damage that first Drake. And it's gonna be, well, not even 34 minutes. Vitality Rising B get the first Drake, and I think okay, that deserves a win, right? So even if Hell wins, it's a 2-1.
The dragon, its purpose has been fulfilled. It's a Hextech dragon next. We're not going to see a soul, so I'm not going to talk about soul point dragons at this point in time, unless this game does in fact go the full 60 minutes. Because, well, I'm going to be real. If it takes us as long to kill Drake 2 as it did to kill Drake 1, I might cry.
We might need 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the longest League of Legends game? Is it still that one in Korea?
I think
What's
so.
the
No, I tell you what, we don't need
longest
120 minutes. We need even more than that, because it'll go Vitality, G2, Vitality, G2, Vitality, G2, Vitality. So there'll be 7 dragons taken total.
Oh, yeah, but okay. The longest game right now is exactly 94 minutes 34 seconds. We still need an hour.
True.
So, can we do it?
No, please.
Yeah.
I beg.
No, okay.
OP,
We
gonna
got
get
OP.
collapse onto a lot of damage coming out of Cultist and Vyojna here. As Delicate's now thrown herself into the fray. Not much she can do either. It should be
Oh,
the
no.
flash into the wall. Sheena died in somewhere to Rim in the meantime there. Off to the flank. So the play is not completely disastrous. It's close, but not completely.
No, but now they're so far away from the bottom lane, and if they abandon the mid lane, they're gonna lose that as well. Look at the damage on the structures. It's so easy for them to actually get it all flashed right in the.
Oh, no, again. Flashes into the charm. He's going to find the stun onto... Not going to find the stun onto Vyojna, in fact.
Oh, Raim runs.
Rim
Find the flank.
is behind everybody here. Does not have the Between Worlds.
Oh, it's so hard to watch. Vitality fought tooth and nail to get control and equalize the game, and now just one mistake from OP and Delicate. Unfortunately, the Great Duo did go down together, and that gives 2 quick and swift turrets for the side of G2 Hell. They now know that split pushing is harder than ever. Look at the gold graph, it's spiked right back into their favor.
So it's not felt like it's been in G2's favor the entire game, but it has been. We are nearing level 18 on every single player that is not a support in this game. In fact, the top laners are nearing level 20.
Not both of them, but you know. I mean, support's level 12 in competitive, 2 items strong, 2.5, almost 3 for Lumi. That's gonna be the tankiest support we've ever seen. Let's see. Oak still landing. Vyojna's very nice in her aim, making sure that Cosmic will lose a third of her HP and has to spend a couple of spells. And now vision control belongs to G2 Hell. On the top side, there's no Drake to be taken for the next 2 minutes. That's something I never thought I have to say in this game. So they're just pushing waves and trying to regain control. But Sheena, together with Kaldis, they're just sneaking around the top side, trying to make sure that anyone who tries to collect that wave will be punished.
And you can see Vitality, they're permanently on edge. They don't know where these assassins are. The buff has started up. Not something I thought I'd be talking about 37 minutes into the game, but look at where Sheena is. Delicate could get caught unawares here. Is going to opt to move backwards a little bit. It is all about this Baron. Rim also on a flank. Lumi gonna be able to get away here. But Vyojna going to find a lot of damage in return onto Rim for that one. The E going ever so slightly wide that would have secured the kill.
And that's so many spells alone. Of course, it took Vyojna's flash, and that's very important, but you gave so much time to Cultist as well. She's not an AD carry anymore. She has been freed to split push.
OP
that's what she
finds the
does.
teleport and is cutting Sheena off from Cultist here. Spirit Rush is available. He's going to be able to use it to get to safety for now. Over the wall they go. Honda finds them both on the backside. Lumi's able to find the Shattering Strikes. Charm goes through. Encore lands onto Sheena. Cultist goes down. She's able to get through the Baron to get away. Jumps over the wall. But Lumi will pay the price of her life as Delicate follows over the wall with the flag and drag. A Shattering Strike is all she has to keep herself safe. Protoplasm ticks away, and boom goes the dynamite as Rim comes over the wall. The Baron could be on the cards. Vitality Rising Bees. It took them one misstep, one overextension, one moment of clarity, and they made their play, and it's still not done yet. Vyojna gonna get flashed on by OP. Continuing to look. Sheena's still in the fight, but has not a lot available. Knockup not quite gonna land. Infernal Chains are, and Vyozhna's gonna go down as well. Second dragon of the game has spawned. Cosmic finds it. They can go Baron, but instead they're gonna look to continue to push into the base. Sheena's on a flank. Sakuromi has to reset. She's a mile away. Rim is ready.
Oh, she takes the wave.
Sheena's just clearing the wave. But there are some very big health bars still ready and waiting. It looks like Sakuromi is not long for this world. Oh my lord, the E again going ever so slightly wide allows Sakuromi in a moment of safety. Vitality Rising Beast at the mid lane hit back off, but Sheena looking, and the teleport into the base from Kaltis. Sheena's just trying to disrupt them, she's trying to stop their backs. The teleport following from Rim, she's able to get it off, and Kaltis can't keep pushing. Sheena's now stuck behind enemy lines completely on her own. Behind the Dragon Pit, Lumi is in the area to try and shepherd her to safety, and Vitality Rising Bees fall back to look for Kaltis. They found her. Spirit Rush gets cancelled by Headbutt. Pulverize is there to follow. Another hit comes through. The fight's still going. Kaltis goes down once again for the second time in this fight. Same screen as the talent, it lands, but it doesn't find any damage onto the two very big health bars. With the support and top laner from the side of Vitality Rising Bees, Delicate is keeping Sakuromi out of the fight, as Lumi is once again going to fall in the enemy jungle for the second time in the same fight.
Bot lane!
On the bot side, Vyozhna TP'd in to try and find another angle. Rim is still there to try and stop this from going. Good lord, this fight is going for so long. She's able to hold the wave. She's able to stop the push from going on. The Baron is not going to be started as everybody else resets to try and defend. 3 members living from the side of G2 Hell. 4 people dying. 5 people dying across the course of that fight in one team. It's done, but I still couldn't tell you who comes out on top. All I can tell you is the gold is dead even again.
It is that even, but now there's 1 inhibitor down from the side of G2 Hell and 2 inhibitors down from Vitality Rising Beast. The one is the straightest path to the end, which is the mid lane, and it feels nice, but it's also the easier wave to clear. How do you deal with both side lanes as Vitality Rising Beast? I'm not sure in this game, and look at the items in almost full build. Rim is 18 stacks on the Magi's stagger and 6 items strong. Almost 7 items strong together with the boots for Cosmic. And of course, even OP has the Eternal Hunger right now. But this is not even a game of inches right now. It's a game of millimeters. You do one mistake, you get punished. And it seems that none of those 2 teams want to let this go.
Absolutely. The important thing to mention is we are on such a knife's edge 40 minutes into this game. A single misstep can end this game for you. It can end your hopes in the upper bracket if you're G2 Hell. It can take you to a game 3 if you are Vitality Rising Bees. As Delicate's going to step in and get face checked. The tanks tank up. That shot blast finds the Cataclysm onto Lumi, and Kaltis forces the ultimate through. Saruna's hand doesn't find a wall. Lumi goes in looking for something. But look at Rim on the backside! She's one-shot 3 of them! Immediately, Cosmic finds onto Lumi. Kaltis has to run. Vyozhna's able to trade 1, but it's essentially a quadra kill for Rim on the backside. Kaltis the only member left standing, and if Olbi can keep him busy, they can end through the mid lane. A beautiful flank coming through from the mid laner of Vitality Rising Bees. Such an incredible series from Rim. This game, especially as the Vitality Rising Bees, against all odds, with a single dragon taken, send G2 Hell packing and take the series 2-0.
14-2-1. What a performance from Rim. She finds a winning angle as well. Oh my goodness, what a game. It is not for the weak of heart. It is just a banger League of Legends game. And honestly, who needs Drake? You just need 1 Drake to win the game, it seems.
What a game.
Oh,
G2 Hell had control of that for so long. And still, all it took was a single misstep. A single moment where they clumped too much with no vision of Rim. And it was lights out.
Yep.
Beautifully done.
So a lesson to be learned, and of course, congratulations to Vitality Rising Beast. Even in the face of the fate, they just run away with a victory once again. What a team!
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Desk will correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe that sends Vitality Rising Bees through to finals on Tuesday. I will be corrected if I'm wrong on that, and I apologize if I am. But that is it for myself and Rev. Rev, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Wonderful in every way. we're going to go ahead and toss this back to Brackish Brit, Hyperbubbles, and Rob to break down that game and have a very quick interview with one of the players from this series.
Thank you, Luna and Rev. Fantastically done, as always. Well then, I feel like this is somewhat of a repeat in my brain of like that was a game that really felt it was going one way, and then it went the other way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I remember we were sitting all backstage talking, and we were like, okay, this is going to game 3. And then, big surprise, it did not go to game 3.
I don't know about you guys, but I got sort of feelings, like back of my skull sort of area, this feeling of like, this doesn't feel like G2 Hell's as far ahead as it looks like they are.
No.
It's just an interaction of the drafts, right? You have one draft that wants to poke and play slow, another draft that really has to go play quite quickly with like the Aurora plus the J4 and actually, then a Serafino on top. And at some point, the slow poking team makes a misstep and they get blown up. That happens on the top side. And then the final fight, it happens again. And I think G2L, they might be kicking themselves a little bit on this one because it is an execution-based team comp. You play slow, you poke them down, then you engage. We saw them do that multiple times, but it wasn't to be in the end. It was just that snap sort of trigger pull from Rim and co that really seals the deal for Vitality Rising Beast to get into the final place that they believed they would have been in the last group, the last stage, and they fell short against Mental Rush. They're going to be very, very happy to go to that best of 5 on Tuesday.
One thing I noticed as well, especially thinking back to a 9 HP Nexus yesterday against Blue Otter, is it feels like G2 Hell have a habit, or maybe Cultus especially, in a situation like that where it seemed like the game was falling out of their control, her idea was to do something crazy, which I think could have paid huge dividends if it worked. Alas, it did not.
Yeah, I think we've seen it now multiple times, right? We saw it, I think, 4 times back-to-back in that 9 HP Nexus game. We saw it happen now where they tried to TP in and make something happen because you're right, like the team fight didn't go their way. So then like, okay, what are we going to do to salvage the situation? We have to try to make something happen. And it's better to like throw something crazy at the wall and maybe it'll stick, maybe... looking back at yesterday, 9 HP difference, like if anything was different, it would have actually worked for them. So I don't blame them or fault them for going for it. I think it's always better to go for these crazy things and have it not work out than just sit back and lose the game, basically.
I still think you've got to play to your win cons. You have a draft, you've picked a very particular region, poke slow, reset Ari, rel engage. I think that reeks of desperation. And I don't think they were actually at that point. They needed to execute the team fights a little better. They'd only lost really at one fight. And if they genuinely believe that is game over at that point, then there's a concern there maybe about the sort of mentality around things.
Well, that analysis is all well and good, but I'd like to pick the brain of someone who was actually in that game. And that for that reason, I'm going to send you away for a moment and have a little word with Cosmic from the victorious Vitality Rising Bees. Cosmic, hello. How are we doing?
Hello. Well, happy.
So, kind of zooming out first, I wanted to ask, to a lot of people, you guys came in as favorites to at least this round of Game Changers. Does that level of expectation affect the team much, if at all?
Can you say again? I'm so sorry, I didn't get it.
People expected you to win.
Yeah.
Or have high expectations of you. Do you struggle with those expectations, or is it just people think we're good?
No, I mean, we don't mind it so much. If people think we are good, then that's nice from them, And if they don't, then it doesn't change much for us. Like, we work the same way, play the same way, and we just aim to win, and that's it,
Seems good to me. For game number 2, we ended up with, obviously, Seraphine versus Ziggs in the bot lane.
Yeah.
How much does having 2 mages affect the overall dynamic of a game? Obviously, you're losing quite a lot of reliable damage that a normal carry would give.
I mean, Seraphine is one of my comfort picks. So I'm always happy to play her, and it's just the new top lane. You know, when you play mage against mage, then it's just 1v1 isolation and supports just roam, and it's their business. You know, it's kind of supposed to be 4v4 topside, and I do my life, and then later on I'm playing mid, and I push the waves, and I connect with my team.
Honestly, I maybe need to subscribe to this play style. It seems like vibes, honestly.
Kinda, no?
Speaking of vibes, there was somebody else who was vibing on the Rift for nearly 34 minutes. Are dragons suddenly like a protected species? Neither team cared about them until it seemed like 34 minutes in, you were like, oh, nobody's taken a dragon yet.
But at some point, I just realized, and then I tell my team, but are we fine just not playing Drakes, you know? And I mean, yes, like at some point it was just too late, you know, we ignored them. So now what's the point of starting them? We just did one because it was here and we had nothing to do. And yeah, it's just, there is still statistics in the Drake, right? But it was too late, so whatever.
If you forget, I mean, yes, at that point, Soul, a long, long way off, and it ended up not being needed. Last thought, really, of at what point in that second game did you feel like you had it in the bag?
Honestly, since the beginning, we were really happy with the draft. Like we expected the second rotation of the draft, most likely, and we were just happy. We felt like we had better draft, and whatever happened in the game, oopsies or not, we just felt like we had it if we just clicked on our keyboard correctly, you know. So we never really panicked. It was just really weird because it was a mind game. There were always where we didn't really expect, and then we kind of understood that it was just weird game. So let's just think weird ourselves, and sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't, and eventually Rim was just too strong on Aurora and one shot everyone. So
yeah, having a Fed Aurora certainly helps. There you go, folks. Click your buttons, you'll win more games. Before I let you go, Cosmic, do you want to say anything to any of the like Vitality Beast fans that came out to support you?
Yeah, I mean, thank you to them. Like the fans are always trusting us, and they seem to enjoy our gameplay, and we take a lot of pleasure to play together. So thank you to my teammates too, because today was not easy, and I'm happy no one gave up. So thank you to them, to my coaches, to Pixie who's streaming for us from Korea. And also, I'll just say in French, because probably my parents are watching. Merci papa et maman de me regarder. Bonne fête des pères. J'espère que vous êtes contents, because today is Father's Day in France. So I was wishing it to my dad. And
Happy Father's Day, Cosmic Dad.
Thank you. And thank you to my friends and my boyfriend. Yeah.
All right, that's wonderful. Thank you very much for coming out for the interview.
Thank you so much for having
me. I'll let you go. Best of luck, of course, for the finals on Tuesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There we have it. Fantastic little
That's
moment.
so
And of course,
cute.
yes, happy Father's Day to any and all fathers who might be watching. Yeah, coming back to you guys. Do you have any key thoughts about the series as a whole, or any moments that stand out to you?
I think there was a little bit more decisiveness for me on the side of Vitality Rising Bees. I think you saw that in this game too. I'm quite impressed with them. There's some keeping their head in that game in particular, because I think when you're against a comp that pokes you out, it's very frustrating to play until you have to wait for your one moment to pounce. It is impressive that you can actually take it when it comes to you, as they did. There are still going to be questions, right? We're still waiting on the next result for the other semi-final. It will be either Mental Rush or Eterna in that finals. I think Eterna are currently 1-0 up, which would be a very interesting matchup. It would be neither of the previous finalists returning. And there's the lower bracket as well. I think we've got G2L versus SK Avarosa, some insane games for both the teams we just saw in that best of three coming up to get those crucial circuit points for the top 8 for playoffs. I think it's October at this point. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm very impressed by Rising Bees. I think they deserve to be here. They look incredibly, incredibly strong.
Fantastic done by them. As you said, there are several more rounds of game changers before we do get to the main playoffs stage. Are there any teams, Hyperballs, you've got your eyes on beyond just the Rising Bees for the future?
Well, I think the most sort of like obvious answer, of course, I still think G2 Hell, they haven't shown us everything. Of course, they this time played around with a different ADC as well, so we're gonna see what they're going to do moving forward. But I think that they still definitely showed signs of life today. In the earlier series today, they played incredibly well. So I don't think that we can ignore them. And of course, we also had the other side of the bracket going on, that there's still a lot more sort of games that have happened that we can't just forget either. So I think there's definitely a lot of things to be excited about. I think we're very lucky that there's so many teams right now that we can keep our eyes on and we can follow. So yeah, I want to see how those games end up happening, and I'm looking forward to see that.
Before we close that out, that was a nice final thought from you. But Rob, do you want to add anything to that?
No, that's about. I've actually just sneakily
So eloquently said.
I was going to say one of the sneakily looking. Burn Sanctuary is currently co-streaming the other game, and it's looking like Eterna are smashing Mental Rush. So we are going to get a non-repeat final. No one from the previous final is going to be there for stage 2. Vitality Rising Bees versus Eterna is looking very likely.
But...
It's possible, but that would be a very exciting matchup because Eterna, right? I believe they obviously the org previous Game Changers champions, they kind of faltered a little bit last stage, and the fact that they get to be finals is going to be a bit spectacular. Vitality Rising Bees are no slouch, but Eterna have looked pretty damn good coming from what was they got third in the group Swiss stage. This should be a great finals.
Look forward to that. Also, stay tuned. You can stay on this very channel, in fact, because once we're done here, we will raid you across to someone who is covering the other match, Mental Rush versus Eterna. We'll see if Eterna can close that one out. That is it for us. However, thank you so much, Bubbles and Rob, for being with me on the desk. Thanks, obviously, to Luna and Rev, the casters. Thanks to you and I as well for casting the other series. Thanks, Bubbles. But also, shout outs to Riot and Neo for putting this event on, of course. We will be back on Tuesday for the finals. Do not miss it. We will see you then.